Well, hello my friends and happy Sunday. Look at this cutie. So I struggled with this, and here's the supplies that I use, most of them anyway. I had a vision, you know, when you have the vision and then it doesn't go according to plan. That's kind of how the process worked for me on this, and it took me a while to get to a place where I liked it. But I'm starting on an 8x8 MDF board, and I'm putting down vintage papers. And I am just laying down some golden high flow acrylics and with some water, and just kind of getting a real light coverage for the sky, and just kind of moving that around. Really watery. I'm using teal and cerulean blue hue for the top, and then phthalo turquoise for the bottom, and then a little bit of white. And I like how that white just really just pops and kind of spreads out almost like alcohol. It was really interesting, but I loved how it looked, just to give it some cloud, some variation, that kind of thing. All of the supplies will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the description box. So now I'm just spraying some alcohol and really getting some more variation, picking up some of that color, some of that water, and just really trying to get a real light feel, because I wanted the background to be super light and not detract, because my thought was I really wanted that cardinal to just stand out, to pop, and it didn't at first, and it took me a while to get there. So I wanted to really lighten it up, but I wanted to be super soft with this, because again, I didn't want to create so much texture for the background that it was hard to create the bird, and that it detracted. So that's why I put my gesso down on the paper, because I can get a really light coat, not a whole lot of texture, which is unusual for me, and really have a lot of control as to where I put it. So I put it down on parchment paper with my palette knife, and then I have just a little bit more control. And then I wanted it just a tiny bit lighter, so I just watered down some gesso and went back over that and picked it up with my towel. So this tree that I'm putting down, I printed it on tissue paper, and I'm putting it down, and I love, okay, so I got a ton of, and I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the video, but I have a ton of new vintage books, and I hit the mother load. And so I have a bunch of new collage packs in the shop that there'll be a coupon for those in the subscriber resource library or in your weekly email. But lots of goodies. And so this is the cardinal stencil, and I just love this stencil. I love the leaves, I love how the bird looks, I love it. So I am just getting my outline with my archival stamp pad in potting soil. And I put that brown down, one, because it kind of pushes that background back and really gives me a lot of focal, makes it the focal point. And it helps me to kind of see where I'm going and that kind of thing. It did make it really dark though, so I should have gone with a little bit lighter coat. So it took me a while to really get some interest in this cardinal. And after I had painted it, the cardinal looked mad and mean, and I wanted him to be happy. So it took me a while, the eyes, the beak, the everything. So I didn't make you watch me just paint in the lines. So I'm using Pyro Red and magenta, I believe. And then now I'm just filling in the leaves. So I'm just filling in the design basically. And now I'm going to come back and add the character and the interest. And the bird just was flat. I struggled to get some interest and some color, because I really wanted that red to be super vibrant, and I would put a little bit of orange in there and a little bit of white, and I didn't like it at all, and it did finally come together at the end. But contrast is key. I say it all the time, and I have to say it to myself. And I'll show you the process once we kind of get there. But I'm just now trying to kind of shade this in to see, like, what do I need? So I'm filling in all the gaps, going over the branches. I filled in the leaves with the greens, and it just looks empty. It looks bare. It just was blah, nothing exciting. And I just was like, oh man, it just wasn't where I wanted this to go. So what do I do when I get stuck like that, when I don't know what to do? I switch to something else. So I'm going to go over here to the tree. For me, I never stop and take a break. I work my way through the process. So I'll shade the tree, I'll work on the eye, I'll highlight the leaves, I'll do a few other things until it comes, because it always comes. And I fiddle with it enough that all of a sudden it's like, oh yes, that's exactly what I need. So I will stop and work on something else when I'm stuck and I don't know where to go. So I'm adding some whites and some lights with my Signo pen with some paint. I'm adding some green to the tree, and again I'm switching over to that tree because I feel like I'm stuck on that bird and I don't know, it just does not look good. It looks angry and boring, and so I'm switching over to adding some color to the trees, and I'm just gonna kind of work my way through. So now I added some light color to the trees, and all of a sudden it was like the branches need flowers. I wanted it to kind of look like a dogwood or something like that. Dogwood flowers, branches. And once I got the flowers on here, then all the ideas came. And that's how typically I work when when I get stuck in a place where I'm like, oh, I just don't like it. Because when you do one thing, it triggers something else always. And so I encourage you, if you get stuck, keep going. So I put the flowers on the branches, and I'm like, well, the tree's got to have some flowers too. So it just took off from there. Once I got those flowers on there, I was like, oh yes. And it also reminds me of contrast, lights and darks. Everything was pretty much the same tones, same everything. So I love the flowers so much. I'm like, of course, I need more. It's empty. It's blank. And I was going to put a word up there, and I just didn't want it. It didn't feel right. So I filled it in with more branches. And the one thing I love using stencils is, I say, use it as your guide, but you can break down a single stencil and make it work in so many different ways. And that's what I did with this. So I basically did the same exact thing, filled in my lines, added my green, and now I'm adding my flowers to the other branches, and it's starting to come together. And I wanted, see, there's that contrast right there, that orange. It was like, ha, the angels sang and everything was good. My soul was happy. My bird was not angry anymore. And it all looked good. And so I really wanted to the meaning behind this piece was really important. So I changed my process and didn't put a huge word on there. I just put one tiny word that said love, because that's often what a cardinal represents for so many people. And I share about that at the end of the video. So I hope you stick around for that conversation. I'm just going to continue to add shading and some lights and some darks, and work on just a few more highlights with my bird and that kind of thing. I'll add shading around the edges. And so check out all of the collage packs, the new collage packs in the shop. They're so good. This cardinal stencil will be on sale this week, and there's a coupon for the collage packs in the resource library. And I hope you enjoyed this project today. It's super simple, but there were a lot of lessons in this project. Contrast is key, and stick with it. Keep working at it, and it will come together. All right, loves, I hope you had a wonderful Sunday. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. And stick around for the conversation at the end. If you like this project, subscribe and like. Leave me a comment if you have any questions at all. And I will see you next week. Well, hello, loves, and happy Sunday to you. Look at this. This just sings like summer, spring, just warm weather, which we are finally getting. But I just love how this turned out. It did not go as planned. This is not what I had planned. But I kind of walked away from it, and then I came back and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I was kind of lost in the process a little bit because it was feeling really empty. And I changed my mind halfway through because I was going to have another word up here. And then I decided, no, that is not, because I was really thinking about the meaning of this piece. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But I just love how it turned out. Love, love, love the process of the background. Doing my gesso on the parchment paper really gives you a lot of control when you're needing just that little bit of something to kind of tone everything down. And the alcohol, and just love the colors and everything. And I knew that I wanted it to just really be kind of neutral all the way around, no additional color but blues and greens, so that the cardinal would really pop, that red would just show up. So I used the new cardinal stencil, but I also used this image here, and then some of the other papers for the background. But you guys, I had the haul of a lifetime on some amazing vintage books, and these are going to be collage packs. But look at, I mean, I cannot wait to use the images. Oh my gosh. Well, let me see if I can make sure I get this in the camera. They're just they're unbelievable. The old plate type, the things we are going to do with all of this. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get all of the collage packs into the into the shop. But this tree will actually be free in the resource library. And then I will have the additional collage pack that's going to come from this book that'll be similar to what I'm doing with the trees and that kind of thing. And then there's probably 4 collage packs just in this book. But I want to show you, I just need to share the joy. And because I know you guys will appreciate this, at least I think. But just all these books in one spot, I was just like in heaven. I was like shaky. I was so happy. But look at, oh, I cannot wait. But all of these are going to be collage packs, and we're going to create some amazing things. So this is a vintage tree. This is a beginner's guide to wildflowers. Oh my gosh. So it's just delightful. So I'll be able to enlarge these, scan them, and enlarge them. And I'm getting great ideas for stencils. And I just, wait till you see this one. And it says, Dear Joyce, hope this book will help you enjoy the Indiana butterflies. Love, Aunt Elsa. I mean, sweet, sweet, sweetness. So, but look at, this whole book is going to be a collage pack. But it gives you the name of the butterfly. The drawings are spectacular. It's it makes me so happy. Field Guide to Butterflies, of course. It is just exactly black and whites and then colors. Where are the, look at, oh my gosh, I'm just, oh, I got these all at the same time. I just, wait till you see this one. Okay, I know I'm taking a lot of time, but I get really happy when this happens. Look at these vintage plates. I cannot wait. These are all different. Look at the, oh my gosh, the owls, just the hummingbirds, every kind of bird. Look at these. Look, I just, okay, I'll stop. But I mean, come on. I can't wait. Can't wait to create with them. So anyway, so that started. This tree will be in the resource library. Sorry, that took a little long, but I get so excited about this kind of stuff. Okay. Nothing really like difficult or anything. I used my golden fluid acrylics or high flows, but everything was really simple except for my own process in my brain. But I just love the end result. But this actually was inspired by, well, there are a lot of signs to paint this. So you guys know that my father-in-law died, and my husband's mom asked for a sign when he got to heaven. That's her thing. And she said, send me a cardinal. And then I have so many other people that when they see a cardinal, it reminds them of a loved one. And then this weekend at a show, I had somebody ask about that. And then I always get the story of why they're asking or what they're looking for. And I love that because those are the stories that make up my inspiration. And so that's what inspired this. And I wanted to create a piece about remembering or what the cardinal represents for us remembering our loved ones. And I was going to put up at the top here, remembering, or somewhere in here, remembering. And I thought, that doesn't seem like it would do it justice. And I thought, well, what do we want to remember about our loved ones? And that's why I ended up putting love, because that's what we're remembering. We're remembering the relationship and the love and the joy that we shared together. So I went through several different words of what to put in here, and I ended on love because that's really what we're celebrating when someone passes over or goes to heaven or whatever you believe, or we're celebrating their life and the love that they shared, the love that that we gave, they gave. So that's why I went with love, and I thought it worked perfectly with the piece. And then I started to think about the whole process of how we can celebrate the life of someone, maybe that we've lost or whatever. And I thought, the best, I thought about what I would want for my kid, what I would want my kids to do. I would want them to celebrate their own life. I would want them to live the best life possible. Say, this is for you, Mom, and then go after their dreams kind of thing. And so I thought that, well, that's perfect, because I'm sure that a lot of you would agree that the most beautiful thing that we can do to honor someone or to remember someone is to live our own lives with love and passion, and to pursue our dreams, and to make the most of what we have here on earth, and in that process be able to remember the ones that we loved and we lost. And so that's no deep message today, but that was the inspiration behind this piece. I had a lot of signs pointing to this, a lot of people asking for this piece, and so here it is. And so I hope, my loves, that today you are celebrating your own life, that you can remember the love of those that maybe you've lost, and that you can honor them by living a beautiful, passionate life filled with your dreams and your biggest desires. All right, loves, I hope your Sunday is awesome and restful, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.